I have a long-standing love affair with language. My wife knows it. She doesn't feel threatened or jealous. She perhaps ultimately appreciates it from time to time when we have conversations and I'm able to shift some language or share a different perspective in language of how to look at something. And then probably other times she's annoyed and wishes I would stop. So, but it's all good. It's all good. But that's just my thing. Like words matter to me, and the way in which people express those words and the opportunity to revisit or rewrite, to rewire our brains around certain words and shifting words. It's that stuff that really just excites me and that just grabs me. And it was interesting because I've had a couple experiences. One, I was talking to a friend today and hadn't was just trying to play catch up. I'd been kind of absent in their life for a while, and I'd asked them how things were going because I know they had moved around for a while and we're just doing different things. And we kind of had, in a way, not completely lost touch, but really lost touch on a consistent basis. And so they were informing me and they were describing the experience and saying things like, I can't tell you if it was good or bad. It was just different. And I loved the languaging around that. I couldn't tell if it wasn't good. It wasn't about good or bad. It was just different. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was different. And I kept thinking of that. And I said, it's so interesting how sometimes when we don't have a frame of reference for an experience because it's so new to our physical, mental, and emotional vocabulary and experience, that sometimes we can't identify it. We just know that it's different. We just know that it's taking me in a different direction that I need to go in. And am I willing to trust that in the moment where I can't find the words? Where I can't find the words to really describe it. So I'll call it things like different, but I won't really attach a judgment to it or a feeling to it. It's just different. When I hear that, and I know it's confusing for the person perhaps that's sharing it with me, but when I hear that, I go, wow, this person's really onto something powerful coming. Like, this is just perfect. Why? Because they can't find the words. And then there's other people. I had a friend go through an experience, a couple friends go through an experience, week-long experience that just was epic and changed their lives on so many levels. And and I knew the content, right? I knew it. And as soon as I said, well, how was it? And I just knew that what was going to happen. And they were like, I can't really describe it. Like, I don't have the words for it. And I'm like, yes, I love that too. I love when people say that because now it is telling me some new and powerful experience just took over and they have no frame of reference for it. So it's a blank slate and they're laying down new grooves in their brain and their bodies and in their emotional states that are so necessary. So whether they can't find the words, you're not sure what the words are, or you don't have the words, it means something new is coming or something new is super present and super available to you. And then it becomes, what is my level of commitment in taking full advantage of this experience and literally taking it to the next level? And here was the beauty of it, because my friend who didn't have the words to describe the week-long experience, over time, as things settled in, she was able to then start to understand what joy meant to her on a deeper level, what bliss meant to her on a deeper level, what grace meant to her on a deeper level. And so suddenly now this new vocabulary was forming with this greater intention behind it, with an expansiveness to it. There's no limitation to what it is and where it can go and what it holds for them. What a powerful, beautiful experience. And my friend who can't find the words and doesn't know if it's good or bad, it's just different. It's coming, man. Better is coming. You're aligning yourself and choosing to go in different directions because the direction, this is it. People get up every day and they go in the same direction for years and years and years, and sometimes they call it a life or a lifetime. And for some people, that's fine. And for a lot of other people, they want more of something, more of several things, more experiences, more ways to contribute, more ways to create impact. They want that more. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful opportunity that is laid out in front of each of us if that's what we want. I've been binge watching with my wife and one daughter, and our other daughter's watching it. She's out of the house already, so she's on her own. She's watching it. She's seasons behind us. We're just ripping through them. So it's kind of a little bit of a nightly ritual where we sit down and go through multiple episodes that are on Netflix. So the show is called New Amsterdam. And I got hooked right off the bat. And it's nice. We sit on the couch, we chill out, we watch multiple episodes. The dogs are with us. We're just kind of hanging. My wife Wendy, and my daughter, and one daughter, and we're just chilling. It's having a good time. One episode leads to the next episode. I mean, sometimes we're doing 3-4 episodes without blinking. It's like a marathon, right? And I was just enjoying the show. And I'm sitting here talking about can't find the words, don't have the words, and then this suddenly hits me. It's having a conversation with somebody. And it just came through me. I had not thought, the lead character on this show is the character's name is Dr. Max Goodwin. And he's the medical director of a major hotel, major hospital, nothing close to a hospital or hotel. My God. Okay. So he's managing medical director for this major hospital. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I'm thinking about this character when I'm talking to this person, and because they were in this place of stuck. They were trying to figure out, well, what do I want my next move to be? And what their next move was, like, more of the same moves they've always made. So I said, well, don't you want to contribute at a higher level? Like, aren't you tired of doing the same thing the same way all the time? I said, there's this show on TV called New Amsterdam that's off TV, but I'm a little slow to the game. Have you ever seen it? And they go, no. I go, it's a really cool show. It's this hospital, and there's this lead character. He's the medical director of this major hospital, and every episode he always says to somebody who has a challenge, who has an upset, how can I help? And he just goes and just does. He just gets activated, and he takes action, and he doesn't necessarily think through everything, but he wants to get the ball rolling, and he wants patients to be happy, and he wants the people that work at the hospital, and the doctors and the nurses and the entire staff, everybody to be happy, and everybody feel like they're contributing to something, and they're all getting their needs met. And naturally, there's so many different needs, and not everything can be met. But at some point in every show, once this challenge is set up or this upset is set up, he finds a way. And it's often through something that another character says in the show that strikes him. That's it. They're like, what? He goes, gotta go. Just next thing you know, you find out what it was that got triggered inside of him in a really positive way based on something that they said that gave him the answer. I said, it's such a cool show because this guy just wants to make the lives of other people better. I'm sitting there going, oh my God. Like, this is such a powerful conversation. And I've watched 4 seasons of it and never had this thought around it. So it was almost like I needed to be in a place where the words found me. Sometimes you can't find the words. Sometimes you don't have the words. And sometimes the words find you. And they found me. I had this whole long conversation. And I was so excited about, and I don't know where it came from. It was obviously inside of me, but I wasn't having any conscious thought about this in the show while it was happening. But suddenly, as a result of having this conversation with this person and seeing the level of upset they were in and how they were spiraling and spinning and spinning and spinning and going backwards all the time, thinking they're going to change something, I said, why don't you want to do something different? Don't you want to shake things up? Well, yeah, but there's always, but yeah, but there's this show I got to tell you about. I don't know if you've seen it in New Amsterdam. No. And I just went into this whole thing. And so I was so excited about that it just flowed through me, that I don't necessarily know where it came from, but obviously it was impacting me. I was obviously absorbing it, even though I wasn't necessarily taking in the words at that time, but the words ultimately found me. And not just in relation to the person I was talking to, like, oh, wow, this turned out to be a great tool for this person. It was also, quite frankly, a great tool for me. Not that it didn't reconnect me to anything I didn't already know. It just reconnected it to me, with me on a deeper level. The importance to me about creating a level of contribution and improving the quality of people's lives and not doing what you've always done the same way all the time, but saying, like, let's mix this up. Let's do something we've never done before. In so many situations, that's what starts to create greatness for people. They're actually doing things that have never been done before, or doing them in a way that they've never been done before. And then they face certain challenges or certain things that trigger parts of their past around financial safety and just money in general. And what it was like to all of a sudden they're thinking about when they were hugely in debt. They can't go back there. And all of a sudden, what do they start doing? They start making the same moves they used to make. The same moves you used to make will not get you to where you've never been before. It can only get you more of the same. So sometimes it's the beauty of the words finding you. For others, you're able to share with, and for you. I was so thrilled about that. And this was what was so cool. I was so thrilled about that I came home and I talked to my wife. I said, I was really thinking about the show today because I got in this whole conversation with someone today. That what's so interesting and I really find so fascinating about this show, New Amsterdam? She goes, what's that? And I explained to her. I said, every episode, it's always, how can I help? And then it's always him doing things and taking action and asking questions and talking to people and communicating and wanting things better for people, regardless of necessarily costs and all these different things. He just went and did things. I said, it just reminded me of what's always possible for each and every one of us. And how sometimes we, you, me, everybody can forget that we can create more, that we can imagine on a higher level and bring that future into the present moment right now. But it requires us to think differently. So not only did the words find me in that moment for this person I was talking to, but they found me for me. And then I was able to share it with my wife. And then my wife really absorbed that. And I heard my wife talking to a friend of hers and started sharing the same thing because it hit her in that way too once she heard it. So the words found her. And then those words found somebody else. And where does it stop? Hopefully never. Hopefully never. Hopefully we're always challenging ourselves to hear what we need to hear in any given moment. To understand that in the process of not necessarily being able to identify what you're feeling, but just to have the awareness that what you're going through is different, that tells you you're heading down a new pathway. And yes, there's challenges, and yes, there's always going to be challenges. Yes, you're going to have stuff along the way. There's always stuff along the way. You're choosing new. You're choosing to see yourself and others and situations and experiences in a different light. You're able to reassess as a result of that, knowing that this is different, knowing that a new pathway is upon you. And the only thing that you need to do is keep paying attention. And sometimes we just don't have the words because the experience is so new. Not only can't we identify it as good or bad, We can't even identify it as different. The word isn't coming out. When I was talking to my friend that day, it was like, I don't know how to describe it. There was a lot of, noise being made, but nothing coming out because there was nothing there yet. And I'm like, oh my God, how beautiful is this? Something new is really forming now. The road has been paved. And now it's just simply incumbent upon the person who's gone through the experience to get into activation, get into action, and take that inside game and take it out. And then pay attention. And then all of a sudden, the vocabulary starts to form because, like I said, my friend, a week later, all of a sudden was able to describe it. The deepening that took place and the words that she was using that maybe she had used before, but you could know in what she was saying and the way she was expressing herself that this was so much deeper than it had ever been before. And sometimes it's the words that have to find you. You're going through experiences, you're present, you're paying attention, but all of a sudden, a situation or circumstance presents itself, and suddenly you see the depth of what you've been absorbing. You see the depth and feel the depth of what you've been absorbing, and all of a sudden it just comes out. It just flows through you. The deeper awareness for yourself, for other people, and like I said, you don't know where it stops. This newness, this inability sometimes to be able to identify a thought or a feeling or experience and needing time, or just having simply no frame of reference for it, or the words finding you, all those scenarios. It's the foundation of the inside game. Something new is presenting itself. Some or several limiting beliefs have been lifted and are on their way out the door. And in this process, new tracks are being laid. New understandings, a new grasp and depth of one's own wisdom occurs in this place. And they're able to then take that into the outside world and make great use of it. I'm Mitch Newman. We'll see you again next time.